So this should be an interesting video to share with everyone. When I saw this on the news last week, I was really excited. It's about Greta Thunberg. She is a very young woman and a climate activist. And the band, the 1975, she's actually doing a song with them that's encouraging her generation by any means to do what they have to do to make climate policy happen, even if that means violence. And this frightens people, and it's so odd to me that people don't see the obvious. And the obvious is that, sadly, more often than not, it does take radical approaches to things to make real change. Obviously, not only have we been stuck in some outmoded form of energy and destroying the earth for over 100 years or longer, but these kids have nothing to lose. And I had predicted this 20, 30 years ago. And how I phrased it was, the hippies had a great idea. But the thing with the hippies is that they had something to go back to. So the hippies, most of them lost their ideologies and became boomers, and actually capitalized even more on the planet and on the economy. But the thing about this generation, who I have titled the Endies, or the end of the world kids, is they have nothing to look forward to. Not only do they have this very limited, very separated economy, but they possibly will have such an uninhabitable climate, and so many of the species that we grew up with and saw, all the beautiful animals and plants and insects, are going to be gone, that these kids are literally not only going to be ready to follow through with what the hippies started, but they're going to be a lot more powerful and a lot stronger to reckon with, because they're going to have each other, they're going to have social media, they're going to have knowledge, and they're going to have technology. And unlike the hippies, they have nothing to lose. They are in for a fight for their lives and for their future. And I'm really excited about this. And I really, really hope that it is embraced and that the kids wake up and push it around and start to show adults that this has to be a priority. The environment, the planet has to be a priority. It's so creepy to me because most of my friends and I, we've always recycled, even before it became, kind of forced upon everyone around the United States. And we've always had this earth consciousness. And the ironic thing is that none of us have children. So who are we doing it for? That's the funny question. But I really get sick often when I hear the elderly or people, the boomers, or even people near my age say, well, I'll be dead by then, when they show these climate reports and they talk about this possible dismal future. And they literally don't give a shit. Most people don't give a shit, and that's why the kids are going to have to burn some stuff down. They're going to have to destroy some stuff. They're going to have to make this happen any possible way they can. And this, yes, there's going to be radicals and there's going to be heroes. And what's the difference between a radical and a hero? Well, only history writes that. And often it's also an opinion, the difference between a radical and a hero. I see a hero being born in these children. I see many heroes being born in these children. And I hope that the older generation is wise enough and unselfish enough that the kids don't have to get to this point, that they don't have to sacrifice their futures, they don't have to sacrifice possible incarceration or even, violence or death to implement common sense change. And yes, it is going to take radical change because we can't wait any longer. We cannot wait any longer. All the evidence, all the science is on the table. And if you say you don't believe in the science, then you don't believe in science. And if you don't believe in science, don't be a hypocrite. Get off the internet and destroy your cell phone and go wall yourself up in a cave somewhere and live like the Dark Ages. Because it's not fair for you to cherry pick technology and cherry pick science to your convenience and then ignore it when it's not convenient for you. That is called ignorance, and that is extremely selfish. Extremely selfish. So, the Endies, the end of the world kids, here they come. And this is just the first generation. Wait till you see the desperation that will be born the next following 3 to 5 generations. The end of the world, kids. And you're seeing, it's funny, you're seeing some of the fashion and some of the ideologies of the hippies coming back, partially because of the economics of the country right now. Even people that invested greatly in educations that can't get jobs are realizing that there are no opportunities for them. They can't even pay back their student loans. So when you see these people that are looking towards tiny houses and they're looking at non-consumption and they're looking at farming and they're looking at they're dropping out. They're dropping out. They're actually dropping in. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because if you're not going to provide your citizens with some kind of social security, a living wage, and a benevolent environment and a benevolent future, then you need to let go of the control and the judgment and allow people to do whatever they have to do to create the quality of life that we all deserve, and supposedly we're all equal here in the United States of America, but we all know that's a joke. So, before you judge people because they're eating organic food because they don't want to be poisoned, or that they're not interested in being a doctor or a lawyer or a real estate agent and perpetuating the capitalist extreme, the sociopathic capitalist mode, really look deeper into the situation, and you're going to find very earthy, very kind, but also, people that don't have a lot of options. What are their other options? Often when people are desperate, they're forced into, criminal behavior. Would you rather these people become selfish and criminalized, or, as tainted and corrupt as our commander-in-chief? Is that the other alternative, that we all just become animals? Because that's the example that's being set right now at our highest levels of government. Complete pigs. And that's an insult to a pig, if you ask me. But pigs do have a certain personality, if you've ever hung out with one. So, spread the word. The Endies are coming. The Endies are coming. The Endies are coming. And get your kids ready, because as things are going now, they've got a real fight for their future ahead of them. They're going to need to learn to be very resourceful, very independent, learn to grow things, learn to do with less, learn to fix things. In a way, it's going to be a very fortunate thing. The only thing that's going to save us at this point, shockingly, is science. But the thing is, science is going to have to make such radical changes in in natural life forms in order to keep up with the inability for nature to evolve quickly enough to survive the changes that are happening with the climate, that it's opening up a very dangerous can of worms. I don't know if you're familiar with the CRISPR technology or a lot of the cloning and CRISPR type sciences, but they're actually, you know, they're going to change things. They're going to change things just to create crops and animals and weather so humans can survive. And we have no idea. You can't imagine how bad it actually is if they're sharing as much as they are with us, and B, what is going to happen. We're seeing little glimpses into this. And I'm going to say, you know, one of the things is, you know, we're not used to, many places, they're not used to the temperatures that they're experiencing right now. So we created the infrastructures of cities for hundreds and thousands of years to be at a certain climate. And when we start exceeding temperatures in either direction, we see roads melting, we see electrical systems going down, we see many issues. And then next thing you know, Europe right now, only approximately 5% of Europe has air conditioning. So now, what do you think is going to happen? Well, the other 95% of Europe is going to try to get air conditioning, which is going to exacerbate the need for more energy. And also, it exacerbates what? Climate change. Yes, it's a slippery slope. Shit's happening fast. And the Endies, they're going to have to find their own solution. And whatever it takes, I'm not going to judge them. I'm not afraid of it. You know, when people are fighting for their future in their lives, do what you got to do, kids. Kick those door downs, burn those buildings, do what you got to do.